say, I want Josh Taylor and get the Josh Taylor fight because he's age wrong. That's it. So anybody on that pipeline right now, that's a big deal.
I talked his ass with the same bit of time.
Right now say, I want Josh Taylor and get the Josh Taylor fight because he's age wrong. That's it. So anybody on that pipeline right now, that's a big deal.
I talked his ass with the same bit of James Tony came in to sign the contract. Wow. So I'm talking to Bobo on the phones like this. Look, I got Zab on one phone, I got James on one phone.
He's gonna beat Sean. Everybody listen, he's gonna beat Sean. He's gonna beat Sean. He's gonna beat Sean. Oh, wow. Okay. My bad. We having technical difficulties. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk Sports, y'all. I'm AK the Apostle. And boxing in DC and all my boxing groups and all of us that do the boxing. I'm gonna get to y'all. We're gonna do a strictly boxing show tomorrow. But right now, it's just been so much going on in the sports world, starting with, Juju Watkins on Monday night suffering a season-ending injury, and an injury that probably will have her out pretty much most of next year. So we probably won't even see Juju to almost tournament time next year. And hopefully she takes her time and, go through it. And, the prayers up for Juju and her family and all that. It's a horrific thing that we hate to see in any sport. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to talk about some of the despicable things that were said on Twitter and social media because, it's just no need for that. But like I said, a terrible injury and a devastating blow to this year's NCAA tournament, because I know we was all looking for that Elite Eight matchup between her and Connecticut, her and Paige, in the rematch from last year, and a chance to see who goes to the Final Four. With that being said, in both tournaments, both women and men, the Maryland Terps are in the Sweet 16, and the Maryland Terps look like they bumping. And one of them got. Let me see. I forgot who the guys, but I think the guys got Florida. But I know the women got Don Staley and in South Carolina. We're just gonna wish them both the best. That's all we could do. We're just gonna wish them both the best. They both got number one seeds, whatever, and that's cool. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Maryland Terps. Now let me touch on something. This thing, I don't know what it is about. All of a sudden, everybody wants to go at the old legends of sports and all that. So now we got a monster debate going on between Asante Samuel and Deion Sanders. Don't know what made Asante do this, but this is the social media era where people just pop off and things get popping. But this thing is really, really grown with Asante Samuel calling out Deion Sanders. In my years of watching football, in my years of watching the game, I've never even heard them mentioned in the same breath or the same air, and nor should they. I know what Asante's saying. His stats look good. He had a great career, this and that and the third. But let's point out a couple of things, though, brother. You got drafted by the New England Patriots, by a team that was in the midst of Super Bowl runs. You wasn't even a starter. You wasn't even a starter the first couple of years. You was backing up Ty Law. See what I'm saying? And who is a Hall of Famer? And then when you were on the field, you was on the field with at least 7 to 8 other Hall of Famers. Deion Sanders got drafted by a low life Atlanta Falcons. No disrespect, Atlanta, but y'all wasn't no contenders. And he made them contenders. You know what I mean? And then 2 different dynasties, the Cowboys and the 49ers, was having bidding wars. Think about it. 2 teams, 5 Super Bowls apiece. Between them, they got 15 to 16 Super Bowl appearances. They were bidding over Deion. And like I said, Deion's presence on the field is bar none. Like I said, Deion Sanders was a standalone. No disrespect to Asante Samuels, but you had Hall of Fame safeties and Hall of Fame corners in the secondary with you. Deion never had that. Deion has never been on a team where he had another, except for Dallas. He did. In Dallas, he had a Hall of Fame safety in Darren Woodson. Forgot about that. And that's the back end of his career. You know what I mean? Maybe 49ers too. But y'all get what I'm saying. I just think that some people's legacy, you just let it be. You let it be. You know what I mean? I don't like this picking apart. Look, Deion's place in history is where it is. If you want to make your place in history, make your place in history. But to try to tear down Deion's legacy is pretty much you playing suicide game right now. I mean, you got people in today's time, because you got so many people who didn't watch these people, who don't know these people. That's why I have a problem with some of these debates. You don't even know who these people are, and yet you still voicing all these strong opinions. Like, okay, yesterday on ESPN First Take, Stephen A. did it again. He was talking to Nafisa Kaya of the Minnesota Lynx, who many people, last year's Defensive Player of the Year, team was in the finals, came 1 play away from being the world champions, and many people predict her to be one of the top people in the MVP race this year, right? He said to her that, Magic and Bird was the faces of the league, and Michael Jordan came in the league as the face of the league, comparing him to Caitlin, which that's not true. Michael Jordan did not come in the league as the face of the league. He had a huge popularity, but he didn't come in the league as the face of the league, and was even furthermore, at that moment when Michael Jordan came into the NBA, Magic and Bird wasn't the face of the league. They were one of the faces of the league and became the faces of the league. But during that moment right now, when Michael Jordan was drafted, the face of the league was Julius Dr. J. Irvin. So what I want people to do, and why I'm passionate about this, if you want to tell history, tell it right. We're not taking away people's flowers so you can give other people a garden. See what I'm saying? We got it. Look, at that time, Magic them was prominent figures, and they went on to be, 2 of the biggest figures in the history of basketball. But Dr. J at that moment was the guy. You know what I mean? Dr. J was the guy. Let's be clear of another thing. The greatest rookie season by any basketball player that ever lived is Irvin Magic Johnson. That's supplanted. There should never be a discussion of that anymore. All that should be over with. Until somebody win a championship as a rookie, we can't put nobody up there with Magic. You know what I mean? What else I got for y'all today? How y'all doing today? Talk to me today. Like I said, man, prayers up to Juju. Prayers up for Juju. It was a horrific scene. I mean, I was so heartbroken to see her gone, and I was hoping that maybe it was just some type of freak accident and she could shake it off and come back maybe the next game. But it's a torn ACL. She will be out for at least probably almost close to a year from now, which puts a damper on next year's, college season. And, next year probably Paige and a lot of the others will be gone. So, I mean, you just hate to see it. You just hate to see that happen to anybody. You know what I mean? And prayers of that. And the WNBA women and many of the, athletes around the world all shared their feelings. I'm not even going to get into the debate about what was posted and whether it was disrespectful or not. That's left to the interpretation, and they can have that. You know what I mean? We're not going to get in court. We can't keep getting caught up in all the hoopla. You know what I mean? Let me see what's going on. I want to see. I know both Maryland teams, male and female, they both got major matchups. And, like I said, the women got Dawn Staley. And there's no shame. Go out there and do your best. I mean, of course, they are going to be prohibited underdogs. They're gonna be prohibited underdogs. So let me see what Maryland boys got. I think Maryland got Florida. Yep, Maryland got Florida Thursday. They the number 4 seed going against the number 1 Florida. 6-point game. 6-point underdogs. I like Maryland chances against Florida. I know. I think the women will be overmatched by Don Staley and them though. I like the Maryland men chances against Florida. I like their chances against Florida. I like the way they play in the paint. I think they bigs can cause problems. I think the Maryland men I think the Maryland men got a real good shot to win that game. I just think that the Maryland women are undermanned to go against that juggernaut that Don Staley got in South Carolina. I think they can serve well, but I think they don't got enough to overcome that giant that South Carolina is. But the fact that they get to play them and we get to watch them against them, I'm excited about that. But I think the men got a shot against Florida, but I don't think the women got enough to get past South Carolina. I think South Carolina is just too much. You know what I mean? And other big news, Stephon Diggs signed with the Patriots. I don't know. And I'm not going to throw dust on the Patriots because, they got Drake May last year. You got Stephon Diggs now. They got a high draft pick coming to them. So you never know. You never know what they'll do. I think the Patriots are going to take Travis Hunter. I think they're getting Travis Hunter. So now you got Travis Hunter, Stephon Diggs, Drake May. They might be formidable. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. Then the Giants have added Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. Not quite sure what they're doing. So does that mean you're not drafting a quarterback? Because then it'd be kind of silly if you bring in Russell Wilson, you bring in Jameis Winston, and then you draft a quarterback. What exactly are we doing? You know what I mean? Because you just tied up $20-some million just in them two picks, them two signings. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know what the Giants doing. The Giants is one of them franchises that you got to wonder about their front office sometimes. It's like, what exactly is your plan? You know what I mean? I'm not getting it. But hey, man, there's to the Pats. The Titans look like they're going to get Cam Ward. Like I said, I think the Patriots are going to take. I think the Patriots are definitely going to take Travis Hunter. So with that being said, the rest of the draft from 3 on down is now because where does Shador fall now? So I'm saying where does Shador fall now? And what does that mean for the rest of the teams? Because, see, a lot of teams wasn't picking quarterbacks. It's a heavy running back draft. It's a heavy wide receiver draft. And, where does that push Shador, Gentry, and all them type of people at? Because a lot of people are getting linemen. A lot of people getting receivers. So it's a few quarterbacks and a few running backs now that may drift down further. So now it's going to be a very interesting draft. Very interesting to see because I certainly think the Giants will be. Then again, though, let's say, so who do the Giants pick at that spot? You know what I mean? It's foolish to take Shador or one of them and you just picked up Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. It's because stranger things happen. You know what I mean? Who do the 49ers pick at number 11? Who the Cowboys pick at number 12? A lot is open. It's gonna be, and it's still a lot of names out there in free agency that could pop in. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep my eye on that. You know what I mean? So one more time, the Deion Sanders versus Asante Samuels. I agree, Asante. If you had a career like yours, you deserve to talk your talk, pump your chest, let people know that that you was one of them ones. But I just think you're going too far. I just think you're going way too far going at Dion. Like, where they do that at? We going at Dion, bro? You know what I mean? We going at Dion, though? Nah. You going too far. Dion the GOAT, bro. Dion the GOAT. Dion is the GOAT. You know, matter of fact, I think I'm going to slide in the boxing talks. I got some time. We're going to get into some of the boxing headlines that's going on. It's a lot of talk going on with the Turkey Sheik, the Turkey Island Sheik, and Dana White situation. And you got people talking about they could force these fighters to have to fight under the terms that they're doing. And I don't see how that's going to happen. You know what I mean? Talking about now they're going to have to fight each other for smaller purses and stuff like that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You know what I mean? I don't know about that. I seen what they said the potential pay was and all the type of thing that they're setting up, but I don't see where they have to. I think that's for prospects. I don't think they can force Eddie, force Al, force Bob, force Oscar to fight under their restrictions. I don't see how they're going to do that. But hey, man, who am I? I'm just a mere boxing fan. And no, Teofimo said something interesting yesterday that I must admit. Teofimo said some pretty interesting stuff yesterday that I gotta admit that he got a point. He got a point because he was like, you know, see how when Devontae Davis could say anything he wanted and act the way he wanted, and all of these places and people out there would pretty much eat it up, and the fans and they all was cool with it. But as soon as he had to draw, or what people say could be a loss, see how fast they turned on him. Now you got people like Paulie calling him out his name, saying he got softness in him, for lack of a better word. And now all these people talking about how he's not that good, and that's what they go to show you in these sports how fast things go. You can go from the GOAT to trash in one fight. You can go from GOAT to trash in one game. You can go from GOAT to trash. And I'm not saying what's right or wrong, but Teofimo, who I have clearly didn't want to hear nothing from because of the nonsense he was doing, I'm lying to say to myself, you know what, though, Teo, you got a point. So that's why when I tell people, so when certain fighters say they're not going to do what you say these so-called fans want to do, I'm not mad at them because y'all open the door for that. The people that go out there and fight whoever, y'all don't show them love once they lose. But then you sit there and we only critique certain people. Like I always say, you got to keep the same energy for everybody. You got to keep the same energy. If this person got to fight Godzilla, that person got to fight Godzilla. You know what I mean? We can't pick and choose who we decide should fight this person and fight this person when we look at resumes and everybody's resumes on the same level. Also, yes, sir. Let me address another rumor. It was a tweet that got put out by Shakur Stevenson that Gary Antoine responded to. And wasn't some conversations going on? Yep. But nothing is definite. Right now it's all rumors and it's all just banter. But I'm gonna tell you like I told him, I would love that fight. And I got nothing but love for Shakur. Always got love for Shakur. But I would love that fight. I would love for us to come out the tunnel and it's Shakur Stevenson versus Gary Antoine Russell. I love that fight. Line it up. If Turkey and Eddie got it going on like they said it, set it up. It should be. There's no reason why it shouldn't happen. He said he wanted to come to 140 and get a title, and he would love that bump. Make it happen. He said that the money right. I think the money can be right. That's a fight I would relish in. I get deep. I get more into it if it become a possibility, I'll start breaking down more into it. Also, it looked like that Edwin De Los Santos is going to line it up with Keyshawn Davis. I think that's also beautiful fight. I think Edwin, it's a big fight for both of them. It's a step up. It's a step in the right direction for both of them. You know, Keyshawn gets to put a real, not saying nothing about his resume, but he gets to put a real tough, rugged, punching contender on his resume. Because Edwin De Los Santos is a dangerous man. There's no walk in the park. Even if you go out there and blow him out the water, even if you go out there and flush him and wash him, that's a great win for Keyshawn Davis if he beats Edwin De Los Santos. And Edwin De Los Santos is a fighter that you better keep your eyes on the whole 12 rounds. You know what I mean? He's a dangerous man. So that's a great fight. Fondor defended his title against Cordell Booker the other day. And he said he would debump, he won't fight whoever, whatever. And you can say what you want about Fondor, man. He come to bang, he come to boogie, and he wanted to fight anybody. And you can't take that from him. I don't know about I forgot the guy's name. I can't pronounce it. He knocked out Tim Tszyu. I think that'll be a great fight. Also, him versus Virgil will be a dandy of a fight. So, you know, boxing is trending. Kind of loopy right now, but we still got some bump. You know, some bump out there. Oh, shout out! Oh yeah, my man. I'm not sure if you're in the boxing DC group, but I'm gonna check for it. My man changes faces and shout out to T Baby Tierra Brown for winning for beating Sky Nicholson and becoming another world champion. You know what I mean? I know she's Florida Florida DMV. She both, but you know. She's from Florida, but she did come out here and she spent a good chunk of her time out here in the DMV. So shout out to T-Baby, Tierra Brown for beating Sky Nicholson, going to her country and pulling it off on the big stage. You know what I mean? So shout out to T-Baby. Let me see what boxing got going on. I know we got Bud and Canelo coming up in the league. Bud putting on a lot of weight too. Bud putting on the weight now. You know what I'm saying? Bud putting on the weight. And he looked good with the weight. So, I mean, the fight versus Canelo might be a little bit more. Oh, Boots Ennis, Stanionis coming up soon. Boots Ennis, Stanionis coming up soon. Let's see what we got. Michaela Mayer this weekend versus Sandy Ryan. Brian Norman versus Deg. Bruce Carrington, Shushu on the card. That's this Saturday. Then the week after that, we got William Cepeda and Tevin Farmer. Then we get dry. Ooh, we go through a real dry patch in boxing. Yeah, I mean, for the diehards, for those of us that just love boxing, we got plenty of boxing, but no fights that we're going to be like, that the fans are going to get to till we get the Boots and Stanionis. Then you got the end of that month, Chris Eubank and Conor Ben, then Ryan Garcia. Then we got the May 2nd card with Ryan Garcia. Rolly Romero, Barbosa versus Tio, which probably would be the fight of the night. And like I told everybody, fighting Devin Haney fighting Ramirez is a good comeback fight, good solid comeback fight. Ramirez is a former world champion, solid opponent, who many of us think is shot. Many of us think he's shot, but you know, he could be, if any remnants of the old Ramirez shows up, it could be a heck of a night. And Devin needs to come back to show everybody he's, you know, shook off the cobwebs and the damage that he took, and then he can go out there and put on a masterful performance. If this fight gets shaken and he survives, we got a different conversation. You know what I mean? He got to, and unfortunately, because that's the way social media and the way sports fans are, you had to put on strong performances every single time you're out there. Anything that look like you're human, you're going to get slaughtered. So hopefully he pull it off. All right. recap of this day. Recap of everything. Started it off with the unfortunate incident that happened to Juju Watkins. Prayers out to Juju Watkins. Hope she makes a full recovery. I don't care about her coming back and whatever she can do in the NCAA. I just want to make sure that she comes back fully healthy because I know what she can do in the NBA, in the WNBA. You know what I mean? So I just want her to just continue to grow and grow and grow and heal up. Prayers going out to her. You know what I mean? Football free agency. You know what? If you have not done so, please like and subscribe to the Let's Talk Sports Show, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. We got a lot of things going on this year. Boxing talks. We're gonna do strictly boxing talks tomorrow. Even though I gave y'all a nice sample size of the boxing talks today, we'll get into it tomorrow. But like I said, tap into the program. We got a lot of stuff going. We're gonna be covering a whole lot more events, not just boxing. Of course, boxing is our first love. We always gonna cover boxing. We're gonna be in the mix. You're gonna see us in the gym, getting more footage from inside the gyms from all the fighters that you know and love. And then also we're gonna be covering this. We could cover some of the Wizards game, but we're gonna strictly focus on the Mystics. You know what I mean? I will be covering a Wizards game next week, but then after that, it's going to be strictly Mystics. Strictly Mystics. And, so we're going to get all the good coverage from inside, down by the locker rooms, all that. So we got a lot of stuff popping going on. And like I said, if you're in the Chuck County, DMV area this Saturday down at Martinis in White Plains, we doing a Get Well event for my man Big Scott, Big Wobbs. You know what I mean? A pillar to the Charles County area, one of the greatest basketball players that ever come through the county, and just an all around brother. So we want to make sure that we, do our best to uplift him and his health situation. So y'all know if you can come through, be blessed. One.